Hello everyone. So first of all, I would like to give a short introduction about myself. So which is the name given to me is Naveenan Chandran and I am 21 this year. So currently I am pursuing my studies in Bachelor's of Computer Science, majoring in Computer Network and Security. I can proudly say that I am a student of Mr. Ahmad Faris. Okay, so I'm here to present about the Wireshark Lab 2. So the Lab 2 consists of 5 parts, so here we go. This is the first part, which is the basic HTTP GET or response interaction. Let's begin our exploration of HTTP by downloading a very simple HTML file on that a very short and contains no embed object. Okay, first of all we have to start up our browser. Then the second step is start up our Wireshark package sniffer. Okay, now we can start capturing. We'll have to wait for 1 minute, minimum 1 minute. Okay, it has been almost more than 1 minute. Now, since we are only interested in HTTP protocol, we have to enter HTTP over here. Followed by entering the specific link given. So now we can stop Wireshark packet capture. Okay, now we go to the part 1 questions. Okay, the first question: is your browser running HTTP version 1.0 or 1.1? So the HTTP version that running in my server is 1.1. And for the second question, what language does your browser indicate that it can accept to the server? So the language chosen is English GB. GB is the English used in United Kingdom. Okay, now we go to the third question. What is the IP address of your computer and of the websites that given in the server? So the IP address of my computer is 192.168.0.154 and for the website is 128.119.245.12. Followed by the fourth question: what is the status code written from the server to your browser? So the status code is 200. Okay. Then the fifth question is: when was the HTML file that you are retrieving last modified at the server? So it's last modified on Tuesday 8 September 2020 on 8:24 22 seconds. For the sixth question: how many bytes of content are being written to your browser? So the bytes that get written are 128 bytes, which is the content length written here. And for the seventh question: by inspecting the raw data in the packet content window, do you see any headers within the data that are not displayed in the packet listing window? If so, name one. By inspecting, for me, I do not see any different headings between the two windows. So that's all for part 1. Now we move to the next part. Okay, now we go to the second part, which is the HTTP conditional get or response interaction. So first of all, you have to start up your browser and make sure your browser cache is cleared as discussed above. So we have opened up our browser, and then we can start our Wireshark network. So hold on for a few minutes. So now we can proceed to the website given. So the instruction asks us to refresh it again. So as we just need the HTTP protocol. So now we can stop the packet tracer. Okay, that's all for part 2. Okay, for now we'll see the questions of part 2. Question number 8. Inspect the content of the first HTTP GET request from your browser to the server. Do you see an if modified since line in the HTTP GET? For the first line, there's no if modified scene line in the GET message. So the next question. Inspect the contents of the server response. Did the server explicitly return the content of the file? How can you tell? So the server did explicitly return the content of the file. Wireshark includes a section titled line based text data, you can guys see here, which shows what the server sent back to my browser, which is specifically what the website showed when I brought it up on my browser. So the question number 10. Now inspect the contents of the second HTTP GET request from your browser to the server. Do you see an if modified since line in the HTTP GET? If so, what information follows the if modified since header? So for the second HTTP GET, yes, I got a if modified since. The information that follows is the date and the time that I last accessed the web page. And the last question for part 2 is, what is the HTTP status code and phrase written from the server in response to second HTTP GET? Did the server explicitly return the content of the file? The HTTP status code is 304, not modified. The server did not return the content of the file because the browser simply retrieved the content from its cache. Had the file been modified since it was last accessed, it would have returned the contents of the file. Instead, it simply told my browser to retrieve the old file from its cache memory. So that's all in part 2. We'll move for the next part. Okay, here we are in the part 3, which is retrieving long documents. First step, start up your web browser and make sure your web browser cache is clear as discussed above. So I'll open up my web browser. Okay, and now we have to start up the Wireshark packet sniffer. Okay, we'll wait for a few moments. Okay, now we can open our browser and go to the given link. So as you all can see, here is displayed the lengthy US bills of rights. Okay, now we'll go to the Wireshark and we'll stop it. So in the filter display, we have to enter HTTP so that it will only display the HTTP protocol. So that's all for part 3. Okay, now we go to the questions of part 3. So question number 12. How many HTTP GET request messages did your browser send? Which packet number in the trace contains the GET message for the bill or rights? My browser only sent one HTTP GET request to the server. The packet that contained the GET message was packet number 52. So you can see right here. And for the following question, which is question number 13, which packet number in the trace contains the status code and phrase associated with the response to HTTP GET request? So the packet contains the status code phrase which the server sent in the response to GET message was packet number 58. Here it goes. So the next question, what is the status code and the phrase in the response? For the response I got here is 200 OK. And the last question of part 3 is, how many data containing TCP segment were needed to carry single HTTP response and the text of bill of rights? So the data was sent in 2 TCP segments to the browser, then reassembled. So that's all for the questions of part 3. Now we'll move to the next part. So here we go to the part 4, which is the HTML document with M objects. So first of all, we have to start up the web browser and make sure the cache has been cleared. After that, open the Wireshark network analyzer and we can start capturing the network. We have to wait for a few moments until the data has been captured. So now we can proceed with the link given. So as we can see, the publisher's logo and few links and also the front cover page of the book. So now we can stop capturing. So in the display filter, we have to search for HTTP because we're only gonna use the HTTP protocol. So that's all for part 4. Okay, now we proceed with the questions in part 4. So the question number 16 is, how many HTTP GET request messages did your browser send? To which internet addresses were these GET requests sent? For my browser, it sent 3 HTTP GET message requests, one each to each for each of the following:
which is the initial page, the Pearson logo, and finally the cover of the Pearson book 5th edition. For the initial page, the address is 128.119.245.12. For the Pearson logo, the address is 128.119.245.12. And finally, for the Pearson book 5th edition picture, address is 128.119.245.12. Followed by the 17th question. Can you tell whether your browser downloaded the two images serially or whether they were downloaded from the two websites in parallel? Explain. So as you guys can see here, the browser downloaded the two images in serially. I believe this is to be the case because the first image was requested and sent before the second image was requested by the browser. Had they been running in parallel, both files would have been requested, then would have written in the same time period. In this case, however, the second image was requested after the first image came back. So that's all for part 4 questions. Now we'll proceed with the next part. Okay, we finally go with the 5th part, which is the HTTP authentication. We'll make sure open the browser and all the caches are closed. Then now we can start up the Wireshark packet sniffer. We'll wait for a few moments and then we can open the given link. So it asks for the username. So the username that given is Wireshark students and the password is network. So now we'll go back to the Wireshark. We can stop capturing the data. So in the display filter, we'll search for HTTP because we're only gonna use the HTTP protocols. So that's all for part 5. Now we look after the questions in part 5, and the 18th question is, what is the server's response in response to the initial HTTP GET message from your browser? So as we can see here, the initial response was 401 unauthorized. For the 19th question, when your browser send the HTTP GET message for the second time, what new field is included in the HTTP GET message? Okay. So here we can see the new field that is now included is the authorization field. This is included because we send the server a username and password along with our request stating that we are authorized to visit the page. So that's all with part 5 questions. We have finally completed all 5 parts. Finally, the reflection part. What I've learned from this lab 2 is, since I am quite new to Wireshark, I've learned quite a lot from this lab 2, which was more advanced from the things I've done in lab 1. So I've learned so many things which have improved my knowledge in Wireshark, even though I've learned all this thing in online. So it was a challenging part for me to understand everything and use my knowledge from it to finally complete all these tasks. So hope all my answers and the task done by me is correct, and all this appreciation go to Mr. Ahmad Faris, who taught and helped me to complete these lab 2 exercises and tasks. And I would like to also thank everyone, my friends and family, who have helped me to do this. So that's all. Thank you guys.